July the 17th, 2015, 6:47 a.m. Suqaim, Dubai. The villa is silent except for the hum of the air conditioning. Veya Iligan stands in the marble bathroom, door locked, holding a pregnancy test. Two pink lines stare back at her. Her hands shake. Not from joy, from terror. She is 23 years old. She is married to Sheikh Juma Al-Nuaimi, 63. The baby is not his. The father is Ghanem, 26, the Sheikh's son. In the UAE, pregnancy outside of marriage is a crime, even for a married woman if the husband denies paternity. And Sheikh Juma will know. He hasn't touched her in 2 months. This isn't just a scandal. This is zina. Illicit sex with her stepson. Under Sharia law, this is incest. She could go to the hospital. But hospitals report unmarried pregnancies to police. If she walks through those doors, she walks straight into handcuffs. She's trapped. Biologically, legally, socially. The bathroom door handle jiggles. Ghanem's voice, low and urgent. Veya, open. She flushes the test, watches it disappear, unlocks the door. He steps in, smelling of Doka tobacco and Rasasi Hawa's cologne. The scent hits her like a memory she wants to forget. His eyes drop immediately to her stomach. How far? Maybe 6 weeks. His jaw tightens. My father cannot know. I know. I mean it, Veya. He cannot know. The way he says it isn't protective, it's a warning. Downstairs, she hears the Sheikh's voice calling for tea. Her throat closes. Her legs feel like water. Ghanem grabs her wrist. We'll figure this out, just stay quiet. But they never figured it out. Welcome to True Crime Story 247. Thanks to all my viewers and subscribers for your support. Stay tuned for daily true crime updates. Don't forget to subscribe. 3 weeks later, Veya Iligan disappears. No police report, no search party, no body. Just an absconding report filed by her husband at a government typing center in Satwa. 3 typed lines, 3 stamps, 1 signature. Cost 50 dirhams. The system erased her before anyone even noticed she was gone. This is the story of a woman who came to Dubai for a better life and found a cage with marble floors and 3-meter walls. A woman who traded poverty in the Philippines for luxury in the desert and lost everything that made her human. This is the story of what happens when pregnancy becomes evidence, when a family name matters more than a life, when the desert keeps its secrets buried under sand that shifts with every wind. This is the story of Veya Iligan, a 23-year-old Filipina from Tagbilaran City, Bohol, a daughter, a sister, a retail worker who sold perfume at Dubai duty-free and smiled at strangers who never learned her name. And this is how she vanished. Veya Iligan was born on March 3, 1992, in Tagbilaran City, Bohol. Not in a hospital. In her grandmother's house in Barangay Bui, where roosters wake you at 4 a.m. and the smell of dried fish clings to your clothes, no matter how many times you wash them. Her father drove a tricycle. Her mother sold bibingka at the public market. They owned their house, concrete with a corrugated tin roof, but money was always tight. Veya was the eldest of 4 children, 2 brothers, 1 sister. She understood early what that meant. She was the one who would save them. She was smart, top of her class at Holy Name University. She studied tourism management because that's what you study when you want to leave. When you dream of working in hotels in Manila or Dubai or Singapore and sending money home so your siblings can finish school and your parents can finally rest. Her Lola, her grandmother, used to tell her stories about the Aswang. Shapeshifters who look human during the day but feed on the unborn at night. They have long tongues that can reach through windows. They make no sound when they move. They smile at you in the market and devour you in the dark. Veya would laugh. Lola, there's no such thing. Her grandmother would grip her wrist, fingers like bird bones. The Aswang doesn't always look like a monster, anak. Sometimes it looks like opportunity. Vea didn't understand then. She does now. By 2013, Vea was 21 and working at a beach resort in Panglao. She made 8,000 pesos a month, about $160 USD. Her brothers needed university tuition. Her sister needed braces. Her father's tricycle needed a new engine. The math didn't work. It never did. Then a recruiter came to Tagbilaran, a woman in a crisp blazer with a Manila accent and expensive perfume. She was hiring for Dubai duty-free. Luxury retail, international terminal, 3,500 dirhams a month plus housing allowance. That was nearly 45,000 pesos, more than 5 times what Vea was making, more than her family had ever seen in one place. Vea signed the contract that afternoon. Her mother cried, "Dubai is so far, Anak. I'll come back, Mama, 2 years, maybe 3, then we'll have enough." She believed it. They all did. Dubai hit her like a wall of heat. Even in January 2014, Terminal 3 was all glass and gold and moving, walkways that never stopped. She wore her best dress, the one she bought in Cebu before leaving. Polyester, sky blue, already damp with sweat by the time she cleared immigration. The company van dropped her at a labor camp in Jebel Ali. Not the staff housing they'd promised. A concrete room with 7 other Filipinas. Bunk beds, 1 bathroom. The AC worked for 3 hours a day if you were lucky. But the job was real. Dubai duty-free, Terminal 3, perfume and tobacco section. She stood behind a glass counter selling Davidoff cigarettes and Chunghwa gold packs to businessmen who didn't look at her face, who didn't say thank you, who paid with black credit cards and walked away. She learned to smile without meaning it, to say "Have a nice flight, sir" in 6 languages, to stand for 10 hours in heels without sitting, to ignore the ache in her feet and the hunger in her stomach. She sent home 2,800 dirhams every month, kept 700 for herself. She ate rice and canned sardines. She shared a phone charger with 3 other girls. She called home on Viber every Sunday at exactly 9 p.m., when the Wi-Fi in the camp worked best. Her brother sent her a photo of his university ID. "Salamat Ade." "Thank you, big sister." She cried in the bathroom stall during her break. Happy tears, she told herself. Proud tears. Sheikh Juma al-Nuaimi came to her counter on a Wednesday afternoon in June 2014. He was older, gray-bearded, wearing a crisp white kandura and a Rolex that caught the fluorescent light. He wanted a carton of Chunghwa cigarettes. The expensive ones, 600 dirhams. She handed them to him with both hands, respectful, the way she'd been trained. He didn't leave. "You are Filipina?" "Yes, sir." "You speak Arabic?" Small, sir." He smiled, not unkindly. "Your English is very good." "Thank you, sir." He came back the next week. Then the week after that. Always the same cigarettes, always polite. He asked where she was from, how long she'd been in Dubai, if she liked it here, if she missed home. She answered carefully. He was a customer. Customers like this tipped well if you were respectful, if you remembered their names and their orders and smiled like they were the only person in the world. Then one day he didn't buy cigarettes. He just stood there, hands folded in front of him. "You are very beautiful, very respectful." "Thank you, sir. I'm looking for a second wife." Her stomach dropped. The air in the terminal suddenly felt thinner. He continued calm, like he was discussing the weather or the price of gold. "I am 62 years old. My first wife is Emirati. We have 3 sons. But I want a younger companion, someone kind, someone who will not argue, someone who understands respect." She didn't know what to say. Her training hadn't covered this. "I will pay your family. I will send you to your country to meet them first. I will give you a good life. You will never work again." He slid a business card across the glass counter. Sheikh Juma al-Nuaimi. Unerringed address in Sukaim. Think about it. He walked away before she could respond. Vea didn't think about it. She researched it. She asked the other Filipinas in her room. Some said run. These men, they say wife, but they mean servant. Others said, if he's serious, that's your lottery ticket. That's your family set for life. She called home. Her father said, no, absolutely not. Her mother was quieter. How much is he offering? The sheikh arranged a meeting 2 weeks later. Not at a hotel. At a cafe in Karama, public, respectful. He brought his first wife's brother as a witness, everything halal, everything proper. He offered 50,000 dirhams as mar dowry to her family, a separate villa in Sukaim, a monthly allowance of 3,000 dirhams, sponsorship for her visa, no work requirement, a plane ticket home once a year. You will be my wife, not my maid. You will have your own space, your own life. She asked, what about your first wife? She knows, she approves. In our culture, a man may have up to 4 wives. She will remain in the main house. You will have privacy. She asked, what if I want to go home? Permanently? He paused, chose his words carefully. We will discuss that when the time comes. She didn't ask again. She already knew the answer. In the UAE, the husband controls the visa. The sponsor controls everything. If she married him, he owned her legally, but 50,000 dirhams. That was nearly 700,000 pesos. Her brother could finish university. Her sister could get braces. Her father could buy a new tricycle, maybe 2. Her mother could stop selling bibinka in the heat. On October 12, 2014, Vea Iligan married Sheikh Juma al-Nuaimi at the Sharia court in Bur Dubai. Her family wasn't there. She wore a borrowed black abaya and signed papers she didn't fully understand. The imam asked if she consented freely. She said yes. Her voice didn't shake. The mar was wired to her father's account that same day, 50,000 dirhams. Her father called her that night, voice shaking. Vea, are you sure about this? I'm sure, Papa. She wasn't. The villa in Sukaim wasn't an apartment. It was a separate 2-story structure behind the main house, connected by a covered walkway lined with bougainvillea. 2 bedrooms, marble floors, floor-to-ceiling drapes that blocked out the sun and kept the rooms in perpetual twilight. The sheikh visited her 3 times a week, always at night after Isha prayer, always polite. He never forced anything, but he expected her to be ready, to be clean, to be willing. She learned to perform, to smile at the right moments, to pretend. During the day, she was alone. The main house was off-limits unless she was invited. The first wife, Sheikha Amina, never invited her. Never acknowledged her existence except through Kamala, the Nepali maid who brought meals and cleaned. Kamala didn't speak much English, but she was kind in a quiet, careful way. She taught Vea how to brew Arabic coffee thick and bitter, how to fold the sheikh's kanduras so they wouldn't wrinkle, how to stay invisible. Vea spent her days watching TV, Filipino channels, reruns of teleseries she'd seen before. She called home every Sunday. She told her family everything was fine. The sheikh was kind. The house was beautiful. She was happy. She was lying. It was fine. It was comfortable. It was suffocating. She met Ghanim al-Nuaimi 3 months after the wedding, March 2015. The weather was getting warmer, the kind of heat that made the air shimmer above the pavement. Ghanim didn't live in the main house. He had his own apartment in Al-Barsha. But he visited his father often, especially for Friday prayers and family dinners. The first time Vea saw him, he was standing in the main courtyard, phone in one hand, cigarette in the other. He wore a white kandura, sleeves rolled up to his elbows, leather sandals. He was tall, broad-shouldered, beard trimmed close to his jaw. When he saw her walking toward the kitchen, he stared. She lowered her eyes and kept walking, heart pounding for reasons she didn't understand. Later, the sheikh introduced them formally in the majlis. "This is Ghanim, my second son. Ghanim, this is Veya, my wife." Ghanim extended his hand. She didn't take it. It wasn't appropriate to touch. He smiled anyway. "Welcome to the family." His voice was different from his father's, younger, sharper, confident in a way that felt dangerous. After that, he started coming around more often, always with an excuse. Borrowing his father's car, dropping off documents, staying for tea. He'd sit in the courtyard scrolling through his phone, legs spread, taking up space like he owned it. He spoke to her in English, asked questions. "Where are you from? Do you miss home? What do you do all day in this place?" She answered politely, briefly, the way a second wife should speak to her stepson. But she noticed the way he looked at her. Not like his father did, with detached ownership. Not like the businessman at the airport, with indifference. Ghanim looked at her with hunger. By April 2015, Veya had been in the villa for 6 months. She'd stopped counting days. Time moved differently in Sukaim. No work schedule, no obligations, just waiting. Waiting for the sheikh to visit. Waiting for Sunday to call home. Waiting for permission to leave the compound. She asked once if she could go to the mall. Dubai Mall, city center, anywhere. The sheikh set down his coffee cup slowly. "What do you need?" "Tell Kamala, she will buy it for you." "I just want to walk. To see people." "It is too hot. You will get sick, and it is not appropriate for you to go alone." She didn't ask again. The sheikh's first wife, Sheikha Amina, never visited her villa, never spoke to her directly. Instructions came through Kamala, delivered in careful whispers. "Sheikha says you must wear full abaya when you leave the compound. Sheikha says you must not answer the gate if someone knocks." Veya understood. She was the second wife. The Sti-Udge, tolerated one. The purchased one, the Filipina. She was furniture, pretty, expensive, kept in a separate room. Ghanim started showing up when his father wasn't home. May the 12th, Tuesday afternoon. The sheikh was in Abu Dhabi for a business meeting. Veya was in the courtyard, watering the plants, because it gave her something to do, some reason to move her body. She heard the Nissan patrol before she saw it. Black, lifted, loud. The engine had a deep, rhythmic growl that echoed off the villa walls. Ghanim stepped out, sunglasses on, phone in hand. He didn't knock. He had keys to every building on the compound. "My father home?" "No, Abu Dhabi." "When's he back?" "Tonight, I think." He nodded. Then he didn't leave. He walked to the shaded sitting area beneath the date palms and sat down, legs spread, scrolling through his phone like he had nowhere else to be. Veya went back to watering the plants. Her hands shook slightly. She didn't know why. "You're always alone," he said without looking up. She didn't respond. "That's not good for you. You'll go crazy locked up like this." "I'm fine." "You're not fine. You're bored. I can see it." She set down the watering can. "Is there something you need?" He looked up, eyes unreadable behind the sunglasses. "You don't have to be so formal with me. I'm not my father." "I know. Do you?" The air felt heavier suddenly, thicker. He stood up, walked toward her, stopped just close enough to make her step back instinctively. She could smell him. Doka tobacco. Rasasi Hawas cologne. Something sharper underneath. Sweat, heat, youth. "If you ever need anything, you can ask me. You know that, right?" "Thank you." He smiled. I'm serious, anything. He left without another word. But the smell of his cologne lingered in the courtyard long after the sound of his engine faded down the street. That night, Vea locked her bedroom door for the first time. June 3rd, 2015, early afternoon. Vea was in her bedroom reading when she heard the knock. Soft, polite. She assumed it was Kamala bringing tea. "Come in." The door opened. It was Ghanim. She stood up immediately, instinctively pulling her headscarf tighter around her face. "Your father isn't here." "I know." He stepped inside, closed the door behind him. Not a slam, just a soft click. "I came to see you." Her throat tightened. "That's not appropriate." "Why not? We're family." "That's exactly why it's not appropriate." He walked further into the room, casual, like he'd been invited. He sat on the edge of her bed like he owned it. Maybe he did. His father owned everything here, the villa, the furniture, her. "My father doesn't talk to you, does he?" She didn't answer. "He just comes here, does his thing, leaves, right?" Her face burned. Ghanim leaned back on his elbows, completely at ease. "That's all you are to him, a duty, a transaction, something he bought. You need to leave." "I will, but first, answer me this." He tilted his head, studying her. "Are you happy?" "That's not your business." "You're not happy, I can see it. You're dying in here." She turned away from him, arms crossed. He stood up, walked closer. She could feel the heat of him behind her, radiating like a furnace. "I'm not like him, Vea. I don't see you as a transaction." "Stop. I see you, really see you." She turned sharply. "You need to leave, now." He raised his hands in mock surrender, smiling. Okay, I'm going." He walked to the door, paused with his hand on the handle, looked back at her. "But you felt it too. Don't pretend you didn't." After that day, Vea locked her door. During the day, at night, always. But Ghanim kept coming. He'd show up when his father was in Abu Dhabi. Sit in the courtyard, offer to take her places. Just for air, just so you're not trapped in here like a prisoner. She always said no. But the walls were getting smaller. The days were getting longer. The Sheikh's visits were getting colder. July 2nd, 2015, the Sheikh was in Abu Dhabi for 3 days. Business meetings, government contracts, things Vea didn't understand and wasn't told about. Vea had been inside the compound for 2 weeks straight. No phone calls from home because the Wi-Fi was down. No TV because she'd watched everything twice. No Kamala because it was her day off. Just silence. Just heat. Just walls. When Ghanim showed up that afternoon and offered to drive her to Kite Beach, she hesitated for the first time. "Just an hour. I won't even sit near you if you don't want." "Your father won't know. He's in Abu Dhabi until Friday." She looked at the walls of her villa, then at the gate, then at Ghanim's car. Windows down, engine running. She got in. Kite Beach was crowded. Families, joggers, expats flying kites shaped like dragons. The sunset was pink and orange, reflecting off the water like liquid gold. Ghanim parked far from the main area. They walked along the shore, keeping careful distance between them. 50 feet, then 40, then 30. For the first time in months, Vea felt something like freedom. The wind in her hair, the sand between her toes, the sound of waves instead of air conditioning. She stood at the water's edge, closed her eyes, let the wind hit her face. "You miss it, don't you?" Ghanim said quietly. "What?" "Home, being yourself, being free." She didn't answer. She didn't trust her voice. "My father didn't marry you because he loves you, Vea. He married you because he could, because you were young and beautiful and desperate." "I know that." "Then why did you say yes?" "Because I had no choice." Ghanim looked at her for a long moment. You always have a choice. Not when your family is starving. He didn't respond. For once, he didn't have a comeback. They walked in silence, waves lapping at their feet. Then he said quietly, "I'm sorry." She looked at him, surprised. For what? For being part of this, for not doing something. It was the first time he sounded human, vulnerable, real. They went to the beach again 2 days later. This time he held her hand. She didn't pull away. The third time, July 10th, he kissed her in the parking lot behind the Nissan Patrol where no one could see them. She kissed him back. She told herself it was survival. She told herself it was revenge against the Sheikh, against the cage, against the system that had bought her. She told herself it was just biology. Two young people, trapped in the same compound, reaching for the only warmth they could find. But the truth was simpler and darker. She wanted him. Not because he was kind, not because he was saving her, because he made her feel like more than a transaction, more than a duty, more than a body waiting in a marble room. For an old man to finish, they started meeting at his apartment in Al-Barsha. The Sheikh thought Ghanim was taking her shopping. To the mall, to the pharmacy. He approved. She needs to get out. She looks pale. The isolation isn't good for her. In the car, Ghanim would drive fast. Windows down. Arabic hip-hop pounding from the speakers. Vea would feel the wind. Feel her hair whip around her face. Feel alive for the first time in months. At his apartment, they'd talk first. About everything, about nothing. About Bahal and the Aswang stories her grandmother told. About his childhood in private schools where he learned English better than Arabic. About the pressure to be Emirati, to be Al-Nuaimi, to carry a name heavier than his body. Then they'd touch. Then more. Vea knew it was wrong. She knew it was zina, illicit sex, one of the gravest sins in Islam. She knew if anyone found out, she'd be arrested, jailed, deported. Worse. But every time she decided to stop, Ghanim would show up. And every time he showed up, she'd forget why she wanted to stop. July 12th, 2015, Sunday. Vea missed her period. She didn't panic immediately. Stress could cause delays. The heat, the isolation, the emotional chaos. But by July 16th, her breasts were sore. She felt nauseous in the mornings, dizzy in the afternoons. She couldn't smell coffee without gagging. She bought a pregnancy test from a pharmacy in Karama, paid cash, wore sunglasses and a full black abaya so no one would recognize her, though no one knew her anyway. July the 17th, 2015, 6 a.m. Vea locked the bathroom door and took the test. Positive. She sat on the cold marble floor staring at the 2 pink lines. This wasn't just a mistake. This wasn't just a secret affair that could be hidden or ended. This was evidence. Biological evidence. Criminal evidence. Under UAE law, if a married woman gets pregnant and the husband denies paternity, it's adultery. Adultery is punishable by jail time and deportation. In some cases, worse. Sheikh Juma hadn't touched her in 6 weeks, maybe 7. He'd know. One look at the dates, one conversation with a doctor, and he'd know. Her hands shook as she pulled out her phone and called Ghanim. "We need to talk." July 17th, 2015. 2 p.m. Ghanim picked her up in the Nissan Patrol. They didn't speak during the drive to Al-Barsha. The AC blasted cold air, but Vea's hands were sweating. Her phone buzzed twice. Messages from home. She didn't open them. Inside his apartment, she stood by the window while he closed the door. The apartment smelled like cigarettes and cologne, and yesterday's takeout. She turned to face him. "I'm pregnant." He froze. His hand was still on the door handle. For 3 full seconds, he didn't move. Then he let go, turned around slowly. "How far?" 6 weeks, maybe 7. His jaw clenched. He turned away from her, ran both hands through his hair, walked to the kitchen, came back. Fuck. I know. You're sure it's mine? The question felt like a slap. Your father hasn't touched me in almost 2 months. Ghanim started pacing, hands on his hips, breathing hard through his nose. Okay, we can fix this. How? You go to a doctor, you take care of it, it's still early? I can't go to a doctor, Ghanim. They'll ask for my husband's consent. They check marriage certificates. If I'm married and he's not with me, they'll report me to the police. Then we find a private clinic. Cash only, no questions. It doesn't work like that here. They check IDs. They scan passports. They ask who your sponsor is. If I'm married and pregnant and my husband didn't bring me in, they call authorities. That's the law. He stopped pacing, stared at her. Then what do you want to do? I don't know. Because I can't. He stopped himself, swallowed, started again. My father cannot find out. I know that. I mean it, Vea. If he finds out, he won't just divorce you. He'll destroy you. He'll destroy me. He'll destroy this entire family. Do you understand that? She stared at him. What are you saying? I'm saying we need to be smart. We need to think. I'm asking you what we're going to do, Ghanim, not what we need to be. What are we going to do? He didn't answer. He just stood there, looking at her like she was a problem he couldn't solve. For 3 days, they did nothing. Vea stayed locked in her villa, sick with morning nausea and night terror. She vomited twice a day. She couldn't eat. She couldn't sleep. She lay in bed with her hand on her stomach, whispering apologies to something the size of a grain of rice. Ghanim stopped visiting, stopped answering her calls. 6 calls went to voicemail, then 10. Then she stopped trying. On July 21st, he finally called back. I talked to someone. Who? A guy I know. He can get pills, medical abortion. You take them at home. It'll be over in a few days. Her chest tightened. Where do I get them? I'll bring them to you. When? Tomorrow. Stay inside. Don't talk to Kamala. Don't talk to my father if he visits. Just wait. He hung up before she could respond. July 22nd, noon. Ghanim showed up with a small plastic bag from a pharmacy. No name on it, just generic white with a staple at the top. Inside were 6 white pills in a blister pack. No label, no instructions, nothing. What are these? Misoprostol, you take 2 now, 2 more in 4 hours, the last 2 tomorrow morning. You'll bleed. It'll look like a miscarriage, natural. No one will question it. Where did you get these? Does it matter? Yes. A pharmacy in Sharjah. Guy I know, no questions asked. She stared at the pills in her hand. They were small, innocent looking. What if something goes wrong? Nothing will go wrong. What if I need to go to the hospital? You won't. But if I do, Vea. He grabbed her shoulders, looked her directly in the eyes. You won't. Just take the pills, stay in bed, drink water. It'll be over by Friday, then we go back to normal. She looked at him. Really looked at him. At the man she'd risked everything for, at the man who'd made her feel alive in a cage, at the man who was now handing her pills like she was a problem that needed solving. Do you love me? She asked. He blinked, dropped his hands. What? Do you love me, Ghanim? He took a step back. This isn't the time. It's exactly the time. Answer the question. He looked away, looked at the floor, looked at the window, anywhere but at her. I care about you. That's not what I asked. Vea, just take the pills, please, for both of us. She took the bag from his hand. He left without saying goodbye. July 22nd, 8 p.m. Vea sat on the edge of her bed with the pills in her hand. She thought about taking them, thought about how easy it would be. Swallow them with water. Lie down. Let nature take its course. Bleed. Cry. Bury it all deep inside where no one would ever find it. But something stopped her. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was stubbornness. Maybe it was the memory of her grandmother's voice, sharp and clear across the years. The aswang doesn't always look like a monster, anak. Sometimes it looks like opportunity. She thought about her mother selling bibingka in the heat. Her father driving his tricycle 12 hours a day. Her brothers studying late into the night by candlelight when the electricity went out. Her sister practicing English phrases from a worn textbook. She thought about the 50,000 dirhams they'd already spent. University tuition paid in full, her sister's braces, a new tricycle with a Honda engine, a roof extension so her brothers didn't have to sleep in the same room anymore. She thought about what would happen if she went home pregnant and unmarried. The shame. The whispers at the market. The way the church ladies would look at her mother. The way her father would stop making eye contact with his friends. She thought about what would happen if she stayed here and got caught. Arrested at a hospital? Jailed for zina? Deported in handcuffs? Her name in a police report that would follow her forever. There was no good choice. But there was a choice. She walked to the bathroom, opened the toilet lid and dropped the pills in one by one. She watched them float for a moment before she flushed, watched them spin in the water, watched them disappear down the drain. Then she went back to bed and waited. July 24th. Morning. Ghanim called. Did you take them? No. Silence, long and heavy. What do you mean, no? I mean I didn't take them. I flushed them. Via, we talked about this. No. You talked. I listened. I'm not doing it. Then what the fuck are you going to do? His voice was rising now, panic bleeding through. I don't know yet. You don't know? Via. My father will find out. It's only a matter of time, and when he does, what, Ghanim? What will he do? Divorce me? Jail me? Kill me? I'm already dead here. I've been dead since I signed that marriage contract. At least this way something lives. He didn't respond for a long time. She could hear him breathing on the other end. Fast. Shallow. Then he said quietly, You're going to ruin everything. I already did. The day I got in your car. He hung up. July 28th. Evening. Sheikh Juma returned from Abu Dhabi after a week of meetings. He visited Vea's villa that night after Maghrib prayer, just like always. She served him Arabic coffee in a small cup. She sat beside him on the low cushions. She smiled when he spoke about his trip. She nodded when he complained about traffic in the capital. He touched her hand. His fingers were cold. You look pale. I'm fine. You look sick. Just tired, the heat. He studied her face. Kamala says you've been vomiting. Her stomach dropped. It's nothing, just the heat. I'm not used to it yet. You've been here over a year. Sometimes it still affects me. He was quiet for a moment, then he said, I will arrange for a doctor to visit, just to be certain. No, really, it's fine. I insist. There was no arguing with him. There never was. August 2nd, 2015. Sheikh Juma arranged for a private doctor to come to the villa, a South African woman, Dr. Moraes, middle-aged professional carrying a black medical bag. She examined Vea in the bedroom, blood pressure, temperature, heart rate. She asked questions in a calm, clinical voice. When was your last period? Vea lied. 3 weeks ago. Are you sexually active? I'm married. Of course. Dr. Moraes smiled apologetically. I mean recently, in the past month. Not very. The doctor made notes on a tablet. I'd like to do a blood test, standard procedure, to rule out anemia, vitamin deficiencies, anything that might explain the fatigue and nausea. Is that necessary? It's routine, just a precaution. Via had no choice. She held out her arm, watched the needle go in, watched her blood fill the vial. August 5th, 2015, 11:47 a.m. Via was in the courtyard watering plants when she heard the voice. Loud, sharp, coming from the main house. The Sheikh's voice, shouting in Arabic. Then Kamala appeared at the villa door, face pale, hands shaking. Sheikha, come. Come now. Vea's legs felt like they'd been filled with sand. She walked slowly across the compound, past the date palms, through the covered walkway, into the main house. Sheikh Juma was standing in the majlis with his phone in his hand. His face was stone. His jaw was locked. He looked at her. You are pregnant. The words hit her like a physical blow. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. The doctor just called. 7 weeks. She nodded. There was no point in lying now. 7 weeks. He said it again. Slower this time. Let each word land separately. I have not touched you in 2 months. I can explain. Explain. His voice dropped to a whisper, cold, dead, final. There is no explanation for this. This is Zina. Sheikha Amina appeared in the doorway behind him, silent, watching, arms crossed. Sheikh Juma stepped closer to Vea, close enough that she could smell the Dan al-Oud oil in his beard. Who is the father? Vea's throat closed. Her mouth went dry. I asked you a question. Who is the father? She couldn't say it. If she said Ghanim's name, everything would collapse. The tzed, family, the honor, everything. I don't know. He slapped her. Not hard enough to knock her down, just enough to make her head turn, just enough to make the point. Do not lie to me in my own house. I'm not. He grabbed her by the arm, fingers digging into her flesh, and dragged her out of the majlis, across the courtyard, through the villa door. He threw her inside so hard, she stumbled and fell to her knees on the marble floor. You will stay here. You will not leave this villa. You will not call anyone. You will not speak to Kamala. You will wait until I decide what to do with you. He walked out and locked the door from the outside. She heard the deadbolt slide into place. She was alone. For 2 days, Vea was a prisoner in her own villa. Kamala brought food 3 times a day. She'd slip it through the door and leave without speaking, without making eye contact. Like Vea had become something contagious, something dangerous, something that needed to be quarantined. The Sheikh didn't visit. Vea spent the hours lying on her bed, staring at the ceiling fan spinning slowly above her. She counted the rotations. Lost count. Started again. Her phone had been taken. The TV didn't work. The Wi-Fi was cut off. She was trapped inside silence. August 7th, 2015. Late afternoon. The door opened. Ghanim. He stepped inside and locked the door behind him. His face was hard, jaw tight, eyes cold. My father knows. I didn't tell him. He's going to find out it's mine. I won't tell him. He's going to ask you. He's going to threaten you. And if you tell him, I won't. Ghanim paced back and forth like a caged animal. This is so fucked. This is so fucking fucked. I know. No. He turned on her. You don't understand what you've done, what this means, for me, for my family, for my father's reputation. She stood up. What I've done, you're the one who, I never asked for this. His voice cracked. Raw. Desperate. I never asked for a fucking baby. I never asked for any of this. She stared at him. At the man she thought she loved. At the man who'd promised her freedom. At the man who'd kissed her on the beach and told her she deserved better. He wasn't trying to save her. He was trying to save himself. Get out, she said quietly. Vea. Get out of my sight. He left without another word. August 8th, 2015. 9:30 a.m. The next morning, Sheikh Juma came to the villa with his driver. He didn't speak to Vea. He just pointed to the door. They drove in silence to Satwa. The typing center was a small shop wedged between a laundromat and a mobile phone repair store. Inside were plastic chairs, 3 desks, 3 men typing on old computers. The smell of instant coffee and cigarette smoke hung in the air. The sheikh handed a form to one of the clerks, a Pakistani man with reading glasses and a mustache. Absconding report. The clerk nodded like he'd done this 1,000 times before. He started typing without looking up. Vea sat frozen in the plastic chair. "What is this?" she whispered. The sheikh didn't look at her. "You are being reported as a runaway worker." "I'm not a worker. I'm your wife." "Not anymore." The clerk typed quickly. Vea could see the screen from where she sat. Her name, her passport number, date of birth, nationality, Filipino, status, absconded. He printed the form, stamped it 3 times with 3 different stamps, red ink, official seals. The sheikh signed at the bottom. "This report will be filed with the General Directorate of Residency and Foreigners Affairs. Your residence visa is now canceled. As of this moment, you are in the country illegally." Her hands started shaking. "You can't do this." "I already have." "What about the baby?" "That is not my concern." "It's your son's baby." The words came out before she could stop them. The clerk's fingers froze on the keyboard. The sheikh went completely still. Vea's entire body went cold. The sheikh turned slowly. "What did you say?" She couldn't take it back now. The words were already out there, hanging in the air like smoke. "It's Ghanim's." The air left the room. August 9th, 2015, 11 p.m. That night, the entire Al-Nuaimi family gathered in the main house. Vea was dragged from her villa by the sheikh's driver, a large man named Rashid who didn't speak. He gripped her arm and walked her across the compound like she was a criminal being transferred to court. The majlis was full. Sheikh Juma sat at the head, Sheikha Amina beside him, all 3 sons on the opposite side. Ghanim was there, sitting as far from his father as possible, staring at the carpet. Sheikh Juma spoke in Arabic first, fast, angry. Then he switched to English so Vea would understand every word. "This woman claims you are the father of her child." Ghanim stared at the floor. "I asked you a question. Answer me." "She's lying." "Look at me when you speak." Ghanim lifted his head, looked his father directly in the eye. "She's lying." Vea felt the room tilt. "She seduced me." Ghanim's voice was steady now, practiced. "I'm sorry, father. She came to me when you were in Abu Dhabi. She said she was unhappy. She said you were too old for her. She said she needed someone younger. I tried to refuse, but she..." "Liar." Vea's voice shook. "You came to me. You sat in my bedroom. You took me to the beach. You..." Sheikha Amina stood up. "Enough." The entire room went silent. She looked at Vea with something between pity and disgust. "You do not speak here. You have no voice in this family." She turned to her husband. "This is what happens when you bring in foreign girls. They have no loyalty, no honor, no shame." Sheikh Juma's jaw clenched so tight Vea could see the muscles jumping. Sheikha Amina continued, calm and cold as ice. "The girl is pregnant with your son's child. Whether he was seduced or not doesn't matter. This is a disgrace to the Al-Nuaimi name. But it can be managed quietly if we act quickly." "How?" the sheikh asked. "We send her away somewhere remote, somewhere no one will ask questions." "Where?" "It doesn't matter. The desert, Oman, Yemen, Somewhere she'll disappear, and the problem disappears with her. Vea's breath stopped in her chest. We can, Sheikh Amina said simply. And we will. August 10th, 2015, 2:47 a.m. That night, Vea couldn't sleep. She paced her villa like an animal in a zoo, back and forth, back and forth. At 2:47 a.m., she made a decision. She took the wooden chair from her desk and smashed it against the bathroom window, once, twice, 3 times. The glass shattered. She wrapped her hand in a towel and cleared the remaining shards. She climbed through in her nightgown, bare feet landing on the concrete outside. She ran. She didn't know where she was running, she just ran. Past the compound gates, which were mysteriously unlocked. Down the empty street. Under the orange streetlights that made everything look like a dream. The streets of Suqeim were empty at 3 a.m. No taxis, no cars, just walls, endless walls. Beige and white compound walls stretching on forever like a maze with no exit. She ran for 15 minutes. Her feet were bleeding, her lungs were burning. Then she heard it. The sound of an engine behind her. She turned. The Nissan Patrol, black, lifted, headlights blinding. Ghanim. He pulled up beside her, rolled down the window. Get in. No. VA. Get in the fucking car. She kept running. Her legs were shaking. Her vision was blurring. He drove slowly alongside her, keeping pace. Where are you going to go? You have no passport, no visa, no money. You're illegal now. If the police find you, they'll arrest you. They'll put you in jail until your deportation flight. Is that what you want? I don't care. Get in the car. She stopped running, bent over, gasping for air. Her whole body was shaking. Are you going to help me? He didn't answer. That's what I thought. She turned to run again, but he reached through the window and grabbed her arm. Hard. His fingers dug into her flesh. I'm trying to protect you. By letting your parents send me to die in the desert. No one's sending you to die. Then what are they doing, Ghanim? Tell me, what's the plan? He let go of her arm, looked away. I don't know. Yes, you do. He was quiet for a long moment, then he said, barely above a whisper, just get in the car. She got in. Not because she trusted him, not because she had hope, but because she had nowhere else to go. He drove her back to the villa, locked her inside again from the outside. She sat on the floor with her back against the door and cried until the sun came up. For 3 more days, she was alone. No phone, no computer, no connection to the outside world. Just the television, which she couldn't bring herself to turn on. She spent hours sitting on her bed with her hand on her stomach, talking to the baby growing inside her. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry for bringing you into this. I'm sorry you'll never know your grandmother's bibinka or your grandfather's jokes. I'm sorry you'll never see Bohol or swim in the ocean or feel safe. On August 14th, Kamala came to the villa one last time. She brought tea and biscuits on a tray. Her hands were shaking. Vea grabbed her wrist. Kamala, please. You have to help me. Kamala pulled away. I cannot. Please, they're going to kill me. They are not going to kill you. But her voice didn't sound convinced. Then what are they going to do? Kamala's eyes filled with tears. I don't know, but you cannot stay here. You must leave. Then help me, please. Give me money. Give me your phone. Something. Kamala shook her head. If I help you, Sheikha will know. She will fire me. She will cancel my visa. I will be sent back to Nepal. My family needs this job. My children need this money. I'm sorry. She left quickly, quietly. Vea was alone again. That night, August 14th, Vea dreamed. In the dream, she was back in her grandmother's house in Barangay Bui. She could smell the dried fish, hear the roosters, feel the humid air on her skin. Her Lola was sitting in the corner, weaving a basket from palm leaves. Lola, I'm scared. Her grandmother didn't look up. You should be, Anak. What's going to happen to me? The Aswang is coming. There's no such thing as Aswang. Now her grandmother looked up. Her eyes were black. Completely black. You're wrong, Anak. The Aswang is real, and it's already here. In the dream, Vea looked down at her stomach. Something was moving under her skin, something with a long tongue, something trying to get out. She woke up gasping, drenched in sweat, her nightgown stuck to her skin. It was 3 a.m. The villa was completely silent. Then she heard it. A car engine outside. She got up, walked to the window, looked through the gap in the curtains. The Nissan Patrol, parked in front of the villa, and behind it a white van, no windows, no markings, just white. 2 men got out of the van. Emirati. She didn't recognize them. They walked toward her door. Her stomach dropped. This was it. August 15th, 2015. 4:30 a.m. The knock came before dawn. Vea was already awake. She'd been awake all night, sitting on her bed, watching the door, waiting. When it opened, it wasn't Ghanem. 2 men. Emirati. She'd never seen them before. Hired, paid, silent. The first one grabbed her arm. She tried to pull away. Where are you taking me? No answer. She dug her heels into the marble floor. Please, where are we going? They didn't speak. They just dragged her. Out of the villa, across the compound, past the date palms, past Kamala's room where the lights stayed off. She screamed, Kamala, help me! Someone help me! No one came. No lights turned on. No doors opened. The white van was waiting. Back doors open like a mouth. They shoved her inside. No seats, just metal floor, cold against her bare legs. The doors slammed shut. Darkness. The engine started. She pounded on the metal walls with both fists. Let me out, please! I'm pregnant, please! No response. Just the hum of the engine, the vibration of the road beneath her. The van had no windows in the back. She couldn't see where they were going. She couldn't see anything. Just darkness and the thin strip of light coming through the crack at the bottom of the doors. The drive felt like hours. Maybe it was hours. She lost track of time. The AC blasted freezing air. She was still in her thin nightgown, the one she'd been wearing when they took her. She shivered. Her teeth chattered. She wrapped her arms around herself and pressed into the corner. She tried to stay calm, tried to think, tried to plan. But there was no plan. There was only this. Metal walls, cold air. Movement towards somewhere unknown. Eventually the van stopped. The engine cut off. Silence. Then the back doors opened and light flooded in, blinding. Desert. Nothing but sand and heat and endless blue sky. One of the men grabbed her arm again and pulled her out. Her bare feet hit sand. Hot. Burning. Walk. Where? Walk. She looked around. No buildings, no roads, no power lines, no signs of civilization, just dunes stretching in every direction like waves frozen in time. Are you going to kill me? The man didn't answer. They walked. 10 minutes. 15. The sand burned her feet with every step. She stumbled, fell to her knees. He pulled her up. Keep walking. Then they stopped. The man reached into his pocket and pulled out a small plastic bag. He handed it to her. Inside, 1 water bottle, 1 granola bar, nothing else. Someone will come for you. Who? He didn't answer. He just turned and started walking back toward the van. Wait. She ran after him. Wait, please, don't leave me here. He didn't turn around. She grabbed his arm. He shook her off. Please, I'm pregnant. Please don't do this. The van doors slammed. The engine started. She stood there barefoot in the sand, watching the white van drive away. Watched it get smaller. Watched it disappear behind a dune. Then she was alone. Via sat down in the sand and pulled her knees to her chest. The sun was rising. Already the heat was becoming unbearable. She opened the water bottle, drank half, forced herself to stop, saved the rest. She didn't touch the granola bar. The thought of eating made her nauseous. By 10 a.m., her lips were cracked. By noon, she was dizzy. By 2 p.m., she was seeing things that weren't there. Her mother standing on top of a dune, calling her name. Her Lola sitting beside her in the sand, weaving a basket from nothing. The aswang circling her, tongue extended, tasting the air. She whispered prayers. Hail Mary, full of grace, our Father who art in heaven. The words came out broken, slurred. Then she heard it. An engine, different from before, closer, coming from the opposite direction. She tried to stand. Her legs wouldn't cooperate. She fell, pushed herself up, waved her arms. Here, I'm here. The vehicle stopped. A car this time, not a van. Black Nissan Patrol. The door opened. Ghanim stepped out. He walked toward her slowly. His face was unreadable. Sunglasses on, white Kandura clean despite the dust. Get in the car. She didn't move. Where did they take me? Doesn't matter. Are you taking me back to Dubai? No. Then where? Somewhere you'll be safe. I don't believe you. He took off his sunglasses. For the first time, she saw something in his eyes. Not love, not guilt, something closer to exhaustion. Via, please, just get in the car. Tell me the truth first. He was quiet for a long moment, then he said, they were going to leave you here. Her breath stopped. My father's plan. Leave you in the desert. Eventually someone finds you. Bedouins, border patrol. Doesn't matter. You get deported. Problem solved. Clean. Legal. But you came. Yes. Why? He looked away, looked at the sand, looked at the horizon. Because I couldn't let you die. She wanted to believe him. Wanted it so badly it hurt. But she didn't. Get in the car. She got in. Ghanim didn't drive back toward Dubai. He drove east, toward Oman. After 30 minutes, she recognized the road, the border. What are we doing here? He pulled over, reached into the glove compartment, pulled out an envelope. You're crossing. I don't have my passport. I do. He handed her the envelope. Inside, her passport, and 5,000 dirhams in cash. Take a taxi to Muscat. There's a flight to Manila tomorrow night. Use the money, go home. I can't go home. I'm pregnant. Then figure it out. She stared at him. You're just leaving me here. I'm giving you a chance. A chance to what? Get arrested at the border? They'll see my visa was canceled. They'll detain me, deport me. Better than staying in Dubai. You did this. Her voice was shaking now. You came to my bedroom. You took me to the beach. You got me pregnant, and now you're dumping me at a border like I'm trash you need to throw away. His jaw clenched. What do you want from me, Vea? I want you to help me. I am helping you. No, you're helping yourself. He didn't deny it. She opened the car door, got out, slammed it hard enough to make the frame shake. Vea, don't. She started walking toward the border crossing, passport in one hand, cash in the other. He didn't follow. She walked 50 meters, then stopped. If she crossed into Oman, she'd be flagged immediately. Cancelled visa, absconding report. They'd detain her, call Dubai, send her back, or jail her, or both. If she turned around and went back to Dubai, she'd be arrested, illegal alien, pregnant, unmarried, prison, deportation. If she somehow made it home to Bahal, pregnant and unmarried, her family would be destroyed. The shame, the gossip, the church. Her father wouldn't look at her. Her mother would cry in private. Her siblings would carry the stain. There was no way forward. She stood there in the middle of the desert, between two countries that didn't want her, and realized something. She was already gone. She turned around. The Nissan Patrol was gone. August 18, 2015, the Dubai police received a report filed by Sheikh Juma al-Nuaimi. Subject, missing person. Name, Vea Iligan. Nationality, Filipino. Age, 23. Status, second wife. Absconded from residence in Sukaim on or around August 10, 2015. Description, possibly pregnant, emotionally unstable. May have taken personal items and small amount of cash. The report was filed under absconding domestic worker, despite Vea's legal status as the Sheikh's wife. No search was conducted, no investigation opened, no Amber Alert issued. The case file was marked closed within 48 hours. Reason, subject left voluntarily. No evidence of foul play. August 20th, 2015. The Philippine Embassy in Dubai received a call from Erlinda Iligan, Vea's mother. My daughter hasn't called in 3 weeks. Can you help me find her? The embassy official checked the system. Searched for Vea Iligan's visa status. Result, visa cancelled. Status, absconded. The official called Sheikh Juma al-Nuaimi's residence, spoke to someone who claimed to be his assistant. She left of her own will. We don't know where she went. The embassy filed a report, noted the concern, logged the inquiry. No further action was taken. Erlinda Iligan called every day for a month. She called the Sheikh's number. Blocked. She called the embassy. We're looking into it, she called Dubai police through an international line. We cannot help with absconding cases. She called Vea's old roommates from the labor camp. We haven't seen her in over a year. By September 2015, the money stopped coming. The monthly remittances Vea had sent like clockwork for 18 months just stopped. Erlinda called the bank. No deposits. She called Western Union. No transfers. She checked Vea's Facebook account. Last post, July 3rd, 2015. A photo of the Dubai skyline at sunset. No caption. By October, the family was in trouble. The 50,000 dirham mar was gone, every peso spent. Carlo's university tuition, Marisol's dental work, the new tricycle, the roof extension, medicine for their father's diabetes. Carlo had to drop out in his 3rd year, no money for tuition. Marisol's braces came off early, work unfinished. The tricycle broke down. They couldn't afford repairs. Their father went back to borrowing one, paying daily rent. They took out loans, then more loans. Interest piled on interest. By 2017, they'd lost the house. Erlinda stopped talking about Vea, not because she forgot, because every time someone asked, the pain came back fresh, raw, unbearable. She stopped lighting candles, stopped going to church, stopped believing in a God who would let a daughter vanish without a trace. Kanim al-Nuaimi married Sheikha Moza bint Rashid in June 2017. Big wedding, 500 guests, 3-day celebration. The photos were in the newspaper. They had 2 children, a boy and a girl, both healthy, both beautiful. He still drives the Nissan Patrol, still goes to the skid pads on weekends, still spends his nights drifting in circles, burning rubber, filling the air with smoke. He never told his wife about Vea, never told his brothers the full story, never spoke about that day in the desert when he left a pregnant woman standing alone at a border she couldn't cross. But sometimes, late at night when his wife is asleep and his children are quiet, he thinks about it. He thinks about her standing in the sand in her nightgown, barefoot, holding a passport that was worthless. He tells himself he gave her a chance. He tells himself he did what he could. He's wrong. December 12, 2019. Sheikh Juma al-Nuaimi died of a heart attack. He was 67 years old. His funeral was attended by hundreds. Government ministers, business partners, tribal elders, family from across the Emirates. Sheikha Amina wore black and mourned publicly, as expected. The obituary mentioned his decades of service, his contributions to Emirati society, his 3 sons, his legacy. It did not mention Vea. At the reading of his will, there was one line about the second marriage. Dissolved due to abandonment, no assets to be distributed. She was erased. Again. In the years after 2015, rumors spread through the Filipino community in Dubai, whispered in the labor camps, shared on Facebook groups, discussed in Tagalog over phone calls home. Did you hear about the girl who married the Sheikh? She ran away. No, she was killed. No, she's in prison in Oman. No, she's back in Manila. No, she's buried in the desert. Every story different, every story the same. A young Filipina, a powerful family, a disappearance. No one knew the truth, because no one looked. In 2018, a journalist researching migrant worker abuses visited a typing center in Satwa, the same one where Vea's absconding report had been filed. She was investigating how easy it was to file these reports, how often they were weaponized, how many women vanished after being declared absconders. She pulled random case files from 2015. Vea Iligan's file was among them. Name, passport number, nationality, date reported, August 8, 2015. Status absconded. The journalist asked the clerk, "What happens after someone is reported?" The clerk shrugged. The file goes to immigration. Their visa becomes invalid. If police catch them, they go to jail until deportation. If they're never caught, he shrugged again, then they don't exist. The journalist published her article in March 2019. Vea's name appeared in one paragraph, one sentence. Among the cases reviewed, Vea Iligan, 23, was reported missing by her sponsor in August 2015 and has not been heard from since. No one followed up. In Tagbilaran, in Barangay Bui, Vea's grandmother died in her sleep on February 14th, 2020. Before she died, she told Erlinda something. The aswang took her, anak. Erlinda, exhausted from years of grief, said, "Mama, please. There's no such thing as aswang." Her grandmother gripped her hand with surprising strength. "You're wrong. The aswang is real. It doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like a man in a white kandura. Sometimes it looks like opportunity. Sometimes it looks like love. But it always feeds on the young, and it always leaves nothing behind." She died that night. Erlinda lit candles at the funeral, dozens of them. But she never lit one specifically for Vea, because lighting a candle means you're mourning the dead. And Erlinda still didn't know if her daughter was dead or just gone. Here's a question for you. If a woman disappears and no one looks for her, did she ever really exist? If her visa is canceled, her marriage dissolved, her name erased from every database, is she still a person? Or is she just paperwork that got lost? Vea Iligan was 23 years old when she vanished. She had dreams. She had a family. She had a life she was trying to save. And then she didn't, not because she chose to disappear, but because a system designed to protect the powerful decided she didn't matter. This story isn't unique. Every year, thousands of migrant workers in the Gulf region vanish. Domestic helpers, construction workers, retail employees, nurses, nannies. They're reported as absconders. Their visas are canceled. Their families stop hearing from them, and no one looks. Because the system that holds their passports, controls their visas, and owns their labor has no incentive to find them. The kafala sponsorship system gives employers absolute power. And absolute power always protects itself. If this story made you angry, share it. If it broke your heart, share it. If it made you think twice about the systems that allow human beings to disappear, share it. Because Vea Iligan can't tell her story anymore. Someone has to. Somewhere in the Arabian desert, sand shifts over secrets that will never surface. Somewhere in Tagbilaran, a mother wakes up every morning and checks her phone. Just in case. Somewhere in Dubai, a man in his 30s drives through the city with his windows down and music loud, trying to drown out a memory that won't die. And somewhere, nowhere, everywhere, Vea Iligan is still 23 years old, still pregnant, still waiting for someone to come back for her. But no one ever does. What do you think happened to Vea? Was she left to die in the desert? Did she make it across the border? Could she still be alive somewhere? Drop your theories in the comments. Share this video if you think her story deserves to be told. And subscribe to True Crime Story 247 for more stories about the people the system forgets. This is True Crime Story 247, and remember, sometimes the monsters don't have fangs or claws. Sometimes they just have paperwork.